Hi guys, this is Shaheer Ahmad and today I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step tutorial in which I'm going to show you how you can create your own vertical navbar component by leveraging modern controls. This component has the capability to expand and collapse the child items of a parent screen, and I can easily navigate through those screens. And as you can see, the screen which I'm currently on is by default selected in the component. The default behavior of this screen also includes by default expansion of the parent item if our current screen is inside the child items of that parent screen. We can configure different icons for every screen and the component is responsive. So without wasting any more time, let's get into how you can create your own vertical navbar component using the modern controls. To do that, I will just go ahead and go to make.powerapps.com and I have a solution here. You can create your own one if you like. And I will go ahead and create a new Canvas application. I will give it a name. And I will choose the table format and click on create. I will wait for it to complete. The loading has been completed and we now have a blank Canvas application. I will just go ahead and inside my tree view, click on the Components tab. Here, I'm going to click on the New Component button. Then we have a blank component. We are going to go ahead and provide it a name. And I'm just going to go ahead and define a width. And I'm going to go ahead and insert a flexible height gallery. So this gallery will consist of all of our screen items. I'm just going to go ahead and make it responsive. Make sure that X and Y properties are set to 0. And in the width, I will go ahead and provide parent.width. And for the height, I will provide parent.height. And for the template size, I will provide 50. So this is going to be our default template size. I'm just going to go ahead and in the settings, make sure that motor controls are turned on. You can see that modern controls and themes. I will turn this option on and close this pop-up. And then I will click on insert and add this button. So as you can see in this modern buttons properties, we have this option for icons. We are going to leverage this to making it into our navbar component. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this button to the corner. Make sure that X and Y properties are set to 0. And in the width, I will go ahead and define parent.templateWidth. And in the height, I will provide parent.templateHeight. Now, I'm going to go ahead and align my items to the left and I will add an icon. As you can see, it's already started to look like a navigation. So what we now need is some items. So what I will do is go ahead and create a new custom property. Give it a name. Navbar items. It will be an input property and it will be of type table. I'm going to raise on reset when the value changes and click on create. This property has been completed and now I'm just going to go ahead and define our table schema in this input property. I've already created this schema for our navbar items. We can also collect this inside a collection on the app start and then use that collection in the input property for all the navigation components on all the screens. This schema consists of title, screen, the icon name, and the child screens. The child screen schema is as same as the parent screen. The only difference is that we're not going to have the child items inside another child item. I will paste the schema inside the description and you guys can copy it if you guys need. Now I'm just going to go ahead and map our navbar input property with our gallery. For status source, I'm going to go ahead and define the component name dot and reference our navbar items property, and then map our properties with our buttons as well. In the buttons text, I will type this item dot title. For the icon, I will add this item dot icon. As you can see, it's already starting to look like a navigation component. If you don't want any nested items, you can just go ahead and leverage this type of navigation bar as well. But to complete this, on its onSelect property, I will add navigate to this item dot screen, so that our parent items are also clickable. And to check if our current screen is selected, I'm gonna go ahead and inside our type property, I'm gonna go and check if this item dot screen is our active screen. Okay. In order to test this, I'm just going to go ahead and insert it into our screen. It currently did not work because our current screen is inside the child item of the home screen. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this component, add it into the screen 2 and the screen 3 as well. As you can see in the screen 3, our screen has been selected by default. So it means that our condition is working fine. I'm going to go ahead and test if our navigation also works. I'm going to go ahead and click on activities. As you can see, it navigated us to the screen 3 and our screen is by default selected. Now I'm just going to go ahead and provide a background color for this navigation component. I'm just going to pick the color from Power Apps and paste it inside the fill property, this component. As you can see, it now looks like a Fluent UI navigation component. I'll do the same inside these. And now I'm just going to go ahead and configure our custom component to be able to support the child items. To do that, I'm just going to go ahead and select this button in our template and click on Insert and then Search Vertical Gallery. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bind our child items to this gallery. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy our button. I'm going to go ahead and make sure a template size is what I want. I'm going to make it 50. And then I'm going to add the button here. And now I'm just going to go ahead and change our Y parent dot template height. Now, our navigation component is behaving as expected. I'm just going to go ahead and define the hide property of our child item screen. To do that, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the hide property of our child's gallery and type here self.allItemsCount multiply by self.templateHeight. Now I'm going to go back into our screen and preview it. As you can see, our child items are being listed here, but they are on the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and select my gallery and make sure its X property is 0 and change its width to responsive and type parent.templateWidth. And make sure our template padding is set to 0. Now you can see that the child items are now in line with our parent screens. We don't want that. In order to fix that, I'm just going to go ahead and add some padding on the left side of our child screen button. I guess 40 will do. And let's back to our screen and preview it. And it looks just fine. Let's try and see this is responsive. And as you can see, the width is responsive. So, as you can see, our child items are being shown here, but it's currently not collapsible or expandable. So, I'm going to go ahead and select our parent gallery. Click on this pencil icon to edit the template and insert an icon. And then I'm going to go ahead and make its X location and the Y location responsive. Parent.templateWidth minus self.width. Now, this icon control will always stick to the right side of our parent gallery. Now, for its height, I'm going to make it responsive as well. Parent.templateHeight. And same for its width. And now I'm just going to go ahead and define some padding. And it looks just fine. Now, we only need to show it when we have child items available on this parent screen. So, what we'll do is, we'll count the child items of this screen and see they are more than 0. As you can see, now our icon is only showing for the items which have the child items, but our icon is on the wrong location. So I'm going to go ahead and select it and check its Y property and fix it. Now our icon is exactly where we want it to be. We need to add more logic in order to expand and collapse our child items. In order to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and on the onReset property of this component, I'm going to go ahead and type clear and give this collection a name. And copy its name. And on click of this button, can type a logic to see if this item is in our collection we will remove this item from our collection, and if it's not available, we will add it. So now this item will be added and removed from our expanded items collection. Now we need to just implement a logic on the icons property. We will check if this item is in our collection, then it's expanded. So as you can see, if the items are expanded, the arrow will be up, and if the items are contracted, then the arrow will be down. The arrow is now being changed, but our child items are still not being contracted. To do that, I'm just going to go ahead and on the hide property of our child items, I will apply the same condition here. If this item is in our collection, then its height will be set, else its height will be set to 0. And now you can see that we are able to collapse and expand our child items. Just to test it, I'm going to go ahead in my screen, and as you can see, the items are being expanded. But when navigating, the item or the selected screen is not expanded by default. It needs to be expanded. We are going to go ahead and apply more logic to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and select my icon and add another condition here that our active screen is in this item's child screens. I'm going to copy this formula and then apply the same condition in the hide property of our child items gallery as well. I'm going to go back to my screen again, and as you can see, child screen or the child items are now by default expanded. To test this, I'm going to go ahead and go inside my home screen, and as you can see, the home screen is by default expanded, but as you might have noticed that our activity screen or its child items are also expanded. To handle that, I'm going to go ahead and on visible on the screen, I'm going to go ahead and reset our component. I'm going to do the same on the other screens. And now I'm going to go ahead and test it. As you can see, our screen is selected by default and expanded, and the other screens are now collapsed. But you might have noticed that our arrow is wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and fix it. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this from here, paste it here. And now, as you can see, the arrow is fine. As you can see, now our arrow won't work for our current screen. So what we will do is, we will add the same condition in the onVisible property of this icon. I have pasted this expression here that the active screen is not in this item's child screens and the count is greater than 0. Now I'm gonna go ahead and test it again. As you can see, we are now able to navigate through the parent screens as well as our child screens, and the component is behaving as expected. If you want to explore different types of icons, you can just go ahead and insert this button in a screen and you can explore its items properties. For example, if I select this icon and click here, you can see the name of this icon. That's all for now. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. See you next time.